Hi everyone, my name is Psychiatrist and welcome to my channel. I live to inspire mental health. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I post weekly videos about mental health and my experience with bipolar disorder. So with that, this week's video is going to be about what it's like to go to a psychiatrist. So I personally went to a psychiatrist for the first time because I was thinking a lot about hurting myself. I had a lot of suicidal thoughts, so my psychologist recommended to my parents that I should be taken to a psychiatrist. And honestly, the first time I went, I did not know what to expect. I didn't know what it was going to be like, feel like. I was nervous, but one of the things I do remember is that on like your first visit, I think there's like different types of people. I've always been very open to share my story, so I wasn't really afraid to tell like the doctor the things that I've gone through, this and that. But when it comes to the first time you're going to a psychiatrist, you might be skeptical to what they say. Of course, on the first like consultation, for me at least, he didn't tell me like you have bipolar disorder, but he was just kind of analyzing, listening. So why did this happen? So it's like a lot of questioning. Which can sometimes be kind of hard because you have to like pull into like painful memories. Of course, like you don't want to like talk about certain things, like I tried to hurt myself, or I was having these thoughts. There's like a lot of layers that a lot of people, not just me, have to go through to, express all the things that they were thinking, all the things that they thought, and they're scared to share to the world. But that is what you do with a psychiatrist, and that's what you're supposed to do to find your solution. But I remember the second time that I went to this one, and I only went twice to that psychiatrist in my first one. He told me I had bipolar disorder, and I did not believe it. I was very skeptical, and I've talked about this before. I think I was very scared, and I didn't want to take it seriously, what he was telling me. And I mean, I think that happens with a lot of people, because when you're being told you have a mental illness, it obviously like shakes you, especially if you have a lot of stigma behind it. Like you don't want to say I have this because people are gonna think bad about it, or you've only heard bad things about mental illnesses, so you're like, I am not crazy, which is exactly how I felt. So as a result of feeling really bad, we went to a different psychiatrist, and I was with him for a really long time, for about like 4 years. And yeah, so it's hard having to tell your story again and again. It's like I said before, it's like taking out this really painful chapter of your life, and like going at it over and over again. But it's part of the process to feeling better. It's what's gotten me here. But going to a psychiatrist for a really long time, especially having bipolar disorder, you might have ups and downs, and that's what I had. So some like consultations with him would be great, like, oh, I feel great, I'm doing well in school, I'm fine, I'm happy, blah, blah. And then the next one might be like, I'm feeling terrible, I have anxieties, I'm having compulsive thoughts, I can't. So it's very hard. And even like there's even gonna be times that you might get angry, or even the psychiatrist might get angry at you. I mean, I think we're all human, and sometimes like it's hard to follow all like the steps, all the things that we're supposed to do, or recommendations at least. I know I got frustrated sometimes because I would be told like, you can't finish your school year because you need to put this first. But like that's hard, you know what I mean? Like when somebody's telling you that, where that comes in is like your psychologist. That person helps you overcome these things, so you don't have to make those drastic changes in your life. Of course, if you absolutely have to, I've always been told you have to put your life above everything else. So that's another thing. But there's definitely that experience. You're gonna have ups and downs. Going to a psychiatrist can be scary, and it can be hard. And I mean, I personally, once I was like more stable, I enjoyed going because it was kind of like a milestone. Like this person has helped you get this far. And I would go every 6 months. Like now, like I don't go that often because I'm stable, so I don't need to go that often to the doctor unless something's going on. I can just give them a call. But other than that, sometimes I would be excited because I remember I would tell my psychiatrist, I am so grateful for everything you have been doing because I feel like you saved my life. And ultimately the impact that going to a psychiatrist had on me was that it saved my life. It was scary. I can say something today that whenever I tell my story, it doesn't have power over me anymore like it used to. Whenever I have to talk about things in the past, sometimes I don't even remember them because, you know, sometimes your mind makes you forget certain things so you don't have to be hurt again. But it's different now, and it's different because I went to a psychiatrist. It's different because I was willing to get help. I was willing to listen. So if you're scared to go to a psychiatrist and you don't know what to expect, I can't tell you what to expect because honestly, everybody's different, and as I said, some days are going to be different than others. But what I do say is that going to a psychiatrist is a really good option, and it's very important to find the right one for you, because if you're not a good match, that might not work out really well, and you might feel like you're wasting your time and you're not getting the help that you need. So it's important to know that psychiatrists are all different. There's different types, there's different, like, you know, people with different backgrounds, and there's one that will help you in the way that you need it, but it's definitely worth it. So despite being scary, despite having to go through telling your story and going back through painful things over and over again, ultimately it just helps you it helps you be stronger, and it helps you have a more stable life at the end of the day, in the future. It's a curing process, and also it's like that trial with your medication. If you're prescribed medications, it's hard too, like going to a psychiatrist saying like this hasn't been working out. I remember, you know, sitting there and he's like, sometimes he would be like, what's wrong? And I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I was just like staring at the ground, or I would feel like this, like my world was distorted, and it could be like a certain medication, it could be this. So it's hard, you know, it's hard to think like, oh, I need to stop taking this medication, or you need to adjust it here, or this is, and it like impacts your like life overall, because it does, like it makes you sleepier, it makes you like not concentrate as well, it makes you moody, and all these kinds of things. So it's hard, but my biggest advice is really to stick to it and finding the right psychiatrist for you, and that way you can like have a better life and be happier and be stable and have, you know, be able to chase your dreams. So with that, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe, like, comment, and share it with somebody who you believe should watch this message. And with that, always remember that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and a bad day does not mean a bad life.